A promising actor collapsed and died after taking a cocktail of drugs at a dance festival in Costa Rica, an inquest was told. A week into his holiday, Joseph Wondera, 27, suffered a seizure. Despite several attempts to save him, Joseph died at an apartment in the beach resort of Tamarindo where he had been attending the BPM Music Festival in January 2022. His mom, Claire Beatson, told Rochdale Coroner's Court on Tuesday, September 18. She was shocked to discover Joseph had taken ecstasy and admitted to his girlfriend he had consumed a concoction of unknown drugs called pink stuff. The day before his death, the inquest heard he sent a text message to his girlfriend back in England, Alison Maloney, which said he was getting on it like mad, the Men reports. On the morning of the day of his death, January 16, Joseph told his girlfriend, "Not gonna lie, I don't know what was in the thing that I took. I can only type with my left hand and now I can't see out of my left eye." He added he had been throwing up and had not slept for 2 days. Joseph's friend, Renate Silner, said in a statement to the court she first met Joseph in Marbella and they had become friends, enjoying nights out in Manchester. She had also traveled to Costa Rica for the festival with some of Joe's friends, the court was told. She recalled that Joseph looked tired on the flight out but said he seemed otherwise healthy. She said the boys stayed in a villa and she stayed in an apartment, and said that Joseph had been taking MDMA, although she wasn't sure how much. She said everybody had been buying it from local dealers. She said she had not seen Joseph drinking any alcohol but said he tried a drug called pink stuff, a form of pink powder which she saw him snort, a few days before his death. After one night out a week into the holiday, Ms. Silner said she fell asleep on the sofa of her apartment at 3 a.m. on January 16 when she said she received a WhatsApp message from Joseph asking her if she could pick him up. She agreed and spent 50 minutes driving to a location he had sent to her in the middle of a forest by the coast. When she found him, she noted bags under his eyes but she said this was normal. She continued, "All of us were sleep deprived because of all the partying, drinking and drugs." Ms. Silner said Joseph could not provide her with the location of his villa so she drove back to her apartment where she refused his suggestion he sleep on the sofa and told him to sleep on a bed. She put a blanket over him, she said. Ms. Silner said Joseph was not hot or sweaty and she went to bed. The witness said that at 7:15 a.m. Fidel, one of the boys who had also stayed at her apartment, woke her up to say Joseph was fitting on the floor and she said she told him to put him in the recovery position. 5 minutes later, Fidel shouted at her to come down and he looked panicked. She said she found Joseph on the floor. Ms. Silner said she could find no pulse but could detect some breathing. The ambulance service was called and Ms. Silner said they were advised to start CPR, with Fidel doing chest compressions. When paramedics arrived at the apartment, they said nothing more could be done, according to Ms. Silner. Beatson, Joseph's mom, told the inquest her son had been raised in Salford and Prestwich before going to study performing arts. He also worked at JD Sports and Greggs after his studies and he was signed up by an acting agency where he also worked as an administrator, Ms. Beatson told the court. She said her son, who had roles in Coronation Street, Scott, and Bailey, and Moving On, loved the performing arts. Joseph was only a social drinker and every year attended Manchester's Park Life Music Festival, the court was told. Ms. Beatson said her son smoked cannabis when he was younger and occasionally took ecstasy, although she said taking drugs wasn't something that was his usual behavior. She admitted she was shocked when she found out what her son had consumed in Costa Rica because he's never taken anything like this before. Her son enjoyed traveling and had been to Thailand with his acting friends. She said of her son, "He was a humorous, kind young man who enjoyed entertaining people and loved life." Ms. Beatson said she learned from her son that he had booked a 2-week holiday to Costa Rica, flew out from London Heathrow on January 10, 2022. While he was away, he sent her some pictures and a couple of text messages from the trip. In the last one, dated in the afternoon of January 15, he said he had been at a party and he said he was having a good time. She learned of her son's death from his girlfriend, the court was told. The inquest heard Joseph suffered a serious assault in Manchester city centre at 1 a.m. on December 16, 2019, when he was attacked by a group of unknown people. He was taken to Manchester Royal Infirmary with broken vertebrae in his back, lacerations which required staples and bruising. He was discharged 11 days later. However, Joseph only reported it to the police 18 days after the attack, and detectives were unable to locate any CCTV because of the delay, the inquest heard. Ms. Beatson told the inquest her son went to a private physiotherapist following the assault. He complained of feeling tingling down one arm. Forensic pathologist Dr. Charles Wilson conducted a post-mortem examination of Joseph when his partial, embalmed remains were repatriated following a post-mortem examination in Costa Rica. He noted a fracture to the spine but said it was unlikely this would have caused or contributed to the death. Dr. Wilson said there was not enough material for him to request a UK toxicological report and instead had to rely on the fairly scant toxicological report from Costa Rica, which revealed there was ketamine and MDMA in Joseph's blood, although it did not reveal the concentration of these drugs in his system. The pathologist said the effect of these two drugs together can be more profound. Detective Inspector Mark Astbury said he had been unable to trace one of the friends who had been on the trip while another had passed away since. However, he concluded there were no suspicious circumstances and that Joseph had voluntarily consumed the drugs found in his system. Recording a conclusion of misadventure, Area Coroner Catherine McKenna said the medical cause of death was ketamine and MDMA toxicity. She added, "Joseph took these drugs of his own free will and I'm satisfied he did not intend this outcome." The coroner said she hoped the death serves as a warning to people taking recreational drugs, adding, "Joseph was a talented, gregarious and joyful young man who had a promising career ahead of him and everything to live for." On Joseph's actor's profile, it was stated that he started out as part of the Mad Theatre Company, based in Monsall, where he performed at schools, theatres and festivals across Manchester. He performed at the Manchester Fringe Festival in 2012, and later a number of TV roles. In 2018, Joseph appeared on Coronation Street as a buyer interested in purchasing Eileen Grimshaw's car.